Good evening. So today, during this session, we should cultivate a special motivation to remember all the Tibetans who have self-immolated themselves, because at this time there is a prayer gathering going on. But I could not cancel this session because there's no way I can inform everybody. But I suppose this is also a way of accumulating the merit, so we are basically doing the same thing. Okay, so but it's important that we cultivate right motivation to remember the Tibetans who self-immolated themselves, as well as countless people who are suffering unnecessarily in different parts of the world. I wanted to read this quotation from Lhakdor, where he says, Lhakdor rangi miche par takam huji jesun danaya nyejun sui lakbe misela yonden sui jang kharu muluwe lumbu chuna khati maje angs. So basically this quotation by Lhakdor, he says that when it comes to removing the faults and adopting the positive qualities, one has to do it. If you do not adopt this practice of giving up the negative activities and adopting the positive activities, nobody can help you in the true sense of the term. You need to do that. Because there will be nobody who will pour into your mouth the good qualities or remove the negativities from yourself. Another Tibetan teacher, in the same vein, he says that however good somebody is, that he will not catch hold of your hand and throw you into heaven. Even the Buddha cannot do that. Even His Holiness Dalai Lama cannot do that. However mean, negative, destructive somebody may be, including the so-called evil force, they cannot catch hold of your leg and drag you into hell. Your happiness, your suffering is in your hand. Therefore, do not cheat yourself. Lagwe sungne dewa jana phenge me, kangbar sungne nyema thenge me, rangi chidu rangi lana yu, rangi rangi me lu hindu ches. I like this quotation so much. Do not cheat yourself. Do not deceive yourself. When somebody cheats us, we feel miserable. Oh, my friend cheated me. My brother deceived me. But how many times, honestly speaking, how many times we have cheated ourselves, but not by not doing the right thing, by not taking the responsibility. And in the true sense of the term, if you do not take care of yourself, you probably has no right to others to take care of you. So therefore the Buddha very clearly said, self is the protector of the self, no one else can be the protector. Similarly, no one else can be the enemy except yourself. So self is the enemy of the self, no one else can be the enemy. So much is dependent upon how we think and how we live our life. That is really the crux of the matter and the essence of Buddha's teaching. And if you make some effort, do the right thing, it doesn't matter whether others are doing or not. As I said the other day, the problem with us is that when someone else is doing, we also do. When others are not doing, we will not do. So when it comes to doing something good, it is not the question of whether others are doing or not. It's just like eating food. You will never say, since other people are not eating, I will not eat. Irrespective of whether other people are eating or not, you will eat. The breakfast, lunch, dinner. On time, perfectly. You will never wait and say, whether others are eating or not. If others are not eating, I will not eat. Now from there we can learn a lot and ask the question. Number one, that by taking the food in time and also taking a lot of care about oneself, we can ask this very pertinent question. I have been taking care about myself for the last many years, as best I could. Of course, again, we are not good in that, but at least we have been trying when it comes to oneself. And then hopefully with the families, we are much better, working much harder for oneself and one's near and dear ones. And then the bigger circle, no, very less. Society, very less. For the nation, even if you are paid, not much. Sincere hard work is not there. And then for the whole globe, we can just pray, may all mother sentient beings be happy. It's only lip service. In reality, it's very difficult for us to really commit ourselves to do something for that, the bigger thing. So seeing that, we can ask a very pertinent question by saying, why am I, or why have I been taking care about myself so much for the last so many years? If you are, say, a young man of 30 years old, you have been taking care about yourself quite well in the last 30 years. If somebody unexpectedly, out of the blue, comes with this funny question, saying that I saw you, that you have been taking care about yourself very much during the last 30, 40 years, why do you take care so much about yourself? If somebody comes up with this very funny question, unexpected question, why have you been taking so much care about yourself? What would be our answer? Can we give an answer saying that, of course I have to take care about myself because I'm a very special person? Or I'm a professor in a university. I mean, you can give all sorts of answers, but I don't think those are correct answers. The correct answer probably is, I have been taking care about myself because I want happiness, do not want suffering. Now, if that is the case, and in fact that is what the Buddha is saying, that your reason of taking so much care about yourself is because you want happiness, do not want suffering. If that is the reason, of course this is a correct reason. So therefore, you should take care about others also because they want happiness, do not want suffering. Then again you will try to respond to that by saying, yeah, that is true, but others, I am. Who am I to take care about? Take care of all other sentient beings. I am not a Buddha. I don't have the capacity. And perhaps it is not my responsibility. Our untrained mind may give such kind of response. In that case, some of the Buddhist teachers, they give wonderful example by saying, in that case, when your leg is suffering, or when your leg got hurt, then your hand should not go down to help the leg that is hurt, because they are separate. Leg is a leg, hand is a hand. I am nobody to take care of the leg, let the leg suffer. And nobody will say that, because you know that there is a close connection between the leg and the hand, or the rest part of your body. So similarly, the rest of the sentient beings, not just human beings, the rest of the sentient beings are related to us. Every small bit that we are enjoying comes through the kindness and help of other people or other sentient beings. Again, of course, you can say, yeah, I get all these things, but I do not get these things free. I work for it, I pay money, The negative mind can come up with all kind of negative answers. Even to the parents. If somebody says, oh, you must respect your parent, a person with negative mind might say, why should I respect my parents? I did not ask them to produce me. I mean, if you go to that extent of giving all the destructive negative answers, you can come up with all kind of destructive negative answers. But the end result of such thinking is that this will lead to disharmony, as I said yesterday. That is the source of disintegration, not integration. Source of disharmony, not harmony. So therefore, there is no other choice for us but to live in harmony and see others related to us. See others as very kind to us in this life and in many lives to come. So with that understanding, if you develop that mental perspective and physically, verbally work in accordance with that right mental perspective to be of benefit to others, as His Holiness the Dalai Lama summarizes the Buddha's teaching by saying that if you can help others as much as you can. If you cannot help, at least refrain from harming. So you can like summarize the complex Buddhist teaching in 2 lines, 3 lines. And even on that level, you can do a lot of practice. One way of summarizing is, help others as much as you can. If you cannot help, do not harm. One way of summarizing it. Another way of summarizing is that the Buddhist teaching, if we summarize it, it talks about a good heart and good knowledge. Good head and good heart. A person with knowledge and also good heart for the well-being of others. So that is the essence of Buddha's teaching. That's the essence of the Buddha's teaching. And that is the purpose of human life. Of course, according to many of the Western philosophical traditions, there is a lot of caution, a lot of questions have been asked about whether human life has a meaning or not. Is there a meaning to human life? Some of the philosophers, they say, what do you mean by meaning of human life? There's no meaning. If you ask whether there's a meaning to human life, it's like asking whether the banana has a meaning. The banana tree has a meaning. So things come, flourish a little bit, and then they vanish. What is the meaning? There's no meaning. There are philosophers who think like that. But at least according to the Buddhist philosophy, and as His Holiness has very clearly explained, that we are not like banana tree. We are thinking, living human beings with strong emotions. And especially because of this intelligence, we can make and mar our destiny. So making your destiny is making your life meaningful. So if somebody asks you what is the meaning of human life, we can say, it is happiness. As I already explained yesterday and day before yesterday also. And that happiness comes. Now here what is important is we should not equate happiness with pleasure. Ordinarily, we spend a lot of time to get just pleasure, not happiness. As I said already, we run after the sensual objects so that your senses are able to enjoy that pleasure. But that is not long-lasting. Sensual pleasures are not long-lasting. It is very much dependent on external objects. The objects change. Relatives, friends, and many other things, they change. They change their behavior, they change their attitude. So they are not reliable, as I already explained. And what is reliable is if you are able to cultivate an internal mental framework, a mental perspective, which is not easily shaken by changes they are outside of you. That's the point. That's the point. If you fluctuate, if you get agitated with the changes that takes outside, you cannot have happiness and peace. You will become very susceptible and very vulnerable because there is no dearth and no shortage of turbulences outside, So somebody says something good, you feel very happy, excited. Somebody says something negative, you feel very discouraged. That's how we behave normally. So therefore our happiness that we experience is not reliable, and we easily get provoked and suffer, you see. So therefore you should cultivate your way of thinking in such a way that you are not tossed around like a feather. One of the very important teaching that the Buddha gave us, your mind should not be like a feather, which is easily tossed around by a slight blow of wind. Your mind should be like a mountain. That's what meditation is, that your mind is able to stay focused on an object, so that when you want to have your mind focused on a positive object, it will stay there like a mountain, unshakable. If you ask the mind to do many other activities, the mind will say, yes sir. Cultivate compassion, yes sir. Cultivate loving kindness, yes sir. So the mind on the one hand becomes very serviceable and also very stable like a mountain. So you have full control over your mind, and you will not fluctuate and be tossed around by changing circumstances. If we recall the story of the Buddha, when he was in his meditative state, about to gain complete enlightenment, countless evil forces, the armies of evil forces came and tried to disturb his mental stability in meditation, sometimes appearing as very enticing, beautiful women dancing around. They were not able to disturb Buddha's meditation. Then they changed their form into very wrathful, fearful or wrathful looking evil forces, and tried to hurl, spells, spears and weapons and things like that. But they could not disturb him. So he got his complete enlightenment. So what I'm saying is, as I already said earlier, that you should cultivate your mind, your mental outlook and perspective in such a way that the changes that takes place outside cannot affect you much. That is possible with the realization that what is outside of you cannot be the long-lasting source of peace and happiness. What is outside of you cannot be the source of long-lasting peace and happiness, because you have no control over what is outside of you. You cannot. Even you become a very powerful king, and ordinarily most of us are not that kings, so we have no control at all. Even those kings or prime ministers who have a lot of control, still we can see they cannot control people. Especially the mind, they can never control. So what is outside of you, you have no control. So in that case, what should you do now? One thing you can do. What is outside of you, you have no control. But how you will react to that changing situation, you have control. How would you react to the changing situation? That is totally in your hand. So as I was saying earlier, that with the changing situation, if you maintain a positive perspective, you will always get good things from the changing situation. You can even draw a lot of inspiration and encouragement from troubles and sufferings. Troubles and sufferings basically means challenges. When you face challenge, you get an opportunity to grow. Then you run away from challenges, sufferings and troubles, you become softy. There's no opportunity for you to learn new experience, to grow. So we need to understand these sufferings, problems as spiritual teachers, as friends. As some of the Buddhist teachers, they say, misfortunes are your spiritual teachers. When they come, don't feel unhappy. Sufferings are like broom that will sweep clean all your negative doings. When you suffer, then you learn what it means when other people suffer. When you suffer, then you learn what it means to be healthy, the value of health. We all have that experience. Sometimes you feel, you get sick for a few days, then you ask, how nice, if I'm not sick, I can do this, I can do that. But when you're healthy, you don't do that. That's the problem, you see. That's why yesterday I was saying that one very important thing that we must start doing is first appreciate all the good things that you have right now. When I spoke about these two different places, in Russia, America, Singapore, and so forth, some people, they ask me, some people who, in terms of wealth, are not so rich. They said, Geshe, I have nothing to appreciate. So I told them, say that again. Geshe, I have nothing to appreciate. I told them, you have two eyes intact. That's true. Two hands intact. That's true. Physically healthy. That's true. Now compare this healthy life that you have right now with those disabled people. Millions of people having no eyesight. Millions of people having no hand, no leg. So the point I'm making is, in many of the cases we have all this intact, eyes, hands, everything, but we are living a life as if we do not have these things. Our eyes don't see what you should see, but our eyes will be seeing only what we want to see. So more or less you will be seeing the same thing, because you want to see the same thing, you don't want to change. So your eyes don't see those things which you should see, but you will see what you want to see. That's the problem. Therefore we are unable to change, unable to become better. We stick to this die-hard habit. So therefore, this kind of Buddhist teachings, as I said earlier, is a teaching in accordance or in harmony with the law of nature. Buddha's teaching is a teaching in harmony with the law of nature. So the Buddha is simply saying that if you live in harmony with the nature, you will discover the secret of the nature. You will discover the secret of your mind. And once you discover the secret of nature, once you discover the secret and the potential of your mind, the magic and mystery lies there. The so-called magic and mystery that we see around is basically understanding the law of nature in physical objects and also in the subjective mind. So therefore, Shantideva in his Bodhisattva way of life, he says, in short, Dorna karse, sem jisang de machina, deto dungal hyumdo jang, teda tome chinarcham. He says, in short, unless you know the secret of the mind, even if you aspire to have happiness, even if you aspire to shun suffering, you will end up wandering aimlessly. You will not achieve anything. So know the secret of the mind. Know the secret of the mind. Because your mind is your boss. In the true sense of the term, your husband is not your boss. Your wife is not your boss. Your friends are not your boss. Normally we say, oh, my boss. But they are in the true sense of the term, they are not your boss. Because as I said already, they are outside of you. They cannot be your boss. They cannot control you. But your mind is your boss. It is your mind which is all the time, 24 hours, dictating you, asking you, do this, don't do that. So your mind being the boss is not the trouble. The trouble is what kind of mind. So ordinarily the mind which is our boss is predominantly stupid, not intelligent, not wise, ignorant, according to Buddhist teaching. So therefore, you are ruled by a boss which is short-sighted, selfish, ignorant. So you can imagine where that boss will lead you. Look at when we select a president or prime minister of a country, when we do the election, we are supposed to be very careful in electing that president. We should elect a honest president, capable president, and things like that. So the Buddhist teaching is basically saying the same thing. The Buddhist teaching is saying that your mind is going to be your boss, but there are two types of mind, positive mind and negative mind. So very soon there will be an election. So you should join the party of the positive emotions and distance yourself from the party of the negative emotions. That's what meditation is about. That's what meditation is about. Electing a mind which is compassionate, which is full of wisdom, which is far-sighted, which is altruistic, things like that. So if you have a mind full of knowledge, full of compassion, full of wisdom, you can easily solve all kind of problems. You can easily face all kind of problems. Not only personal problems, but problems of many, many people. Okay. So therefore, always judging one's mind. There is a Buddhist teaching which says, "Soska chiburla tao sem." That means when you are among a big crowd, speak less, watch your mouth. Soska, so bimangu yusal kada bujaps. Chipurla, when you are alone in somebody's house, watch your hand. You might either steal something, or you might, out of curiosity, just pick up a cup or something. It might slip from your hand and break. It's very embarrassing then. You see, so watch your hand. Now the same, but always watch your mind. Wherever you are, watch your mind. So that's the thing. So your real teacher has to be found within your mind. Your real friend has to be found within your mind. Happiness and peace for this life, for many lives to come, has to be found within your mind. If you have a mind with all those good qualities, positive emotions, wherever you go, you are going with your friend, you are going with your protector, you are going with your teacher. If you are dependent on someone else, however good that person is, there is a limitation that person can do for you. That person cannot enter into your mind and think for you 24 hours. That work has to be done by you. So therefore, I always say, take care. I like this word, take care. When we meet and then we depart, we say, bye, take care. That's what we all say. And Buddha is basically saying the same thing, take care. When we meet and part, then we say, take care. Everybody says, bye, take care. Nobody says, bye, I will take care of you. Because that is simply not feasible. Bye, take care. So I always tell people, bye, take care, in the true sense of the term. The Buddha said, self is the protector of the self, no one else can be the protector, as I already quoted. So therefore, all this study that we are doing together here or elsewhere is primarily for electing capable, compassionate, good mind, so that you can be the source of peace and happiness, not only for you, but for the planet, for human beings, for the environment, for the birds, for the animals, you see. Whenever there is a person with a good heart, good mind, even the birds, animals, they come fearlessly. But when there is a threat, they all feel agitated. You can see that, you see. I very well remember visiting His Holiness, senior tutor, Jabjiling Rinpoche, when he used to live in that, Chobra house. Maybe because I was young and has a good attitude in those days. But as you grow up and get more education, you become polluted. Be careful. So, just by being around his house, it gives me a feeling that I'm in a different realm. Because he was so knowledgeable and so peaceful, you see. So we used to have such great teachers, you see. And similarly, when we go to see His Holiness, and other great, really, really great teachers, we get that feeling, you see. even at the time of the Buddha, there was a king called Bimbisara, I think Sukjin Yingbo. So as a king, he had a lot of problems in his kingdom. So whenever he had a problem, he used to go into the forest and sit near a tree. And then later on, when he met Buddha, he said, meeting the Buddha is really like sitting under the shade of a great tree. He felt that, you see. And some years back, when I was visiting Mumbai, I met a quite famous business person, I think CEO of something. So he also told me that whenever he had problem in his company, he goes into the forest. So that also shows that being with the nature gives you an opportunity to explore your own nature. That's why Buddha was born under a tree, meditated under a tree, and died under a tree. Now today, unfortunately, we are more and more, distancing ourselves from the nature. We don't want to talk about the death. We don't want to see people dying. It's all whisked away or done in hospital, So we know nothing. Anyway, so that is just start. So we need to finish the text. So from your sublime abode at the Potala, O Tara, born from the green letter Tam, your crown adorned with Amitabha, action mother of the Buddhas of the three times, Tara, please come with your attendants. We read this yesterday actually. So that is invocation. Then next is prostration. I explained the meaning of prostration yesterday. The gods and demigods bow to your lotus feet, O Tara, you who rescue all who are destitute. To you, Mother Tara, I pay homage. This paying homage. The praises, Om Jisuma Famodramala Chansol, Om homage to the Venerable Arya Tara, Om I prostrate to the noble transcendental liberator. So this, up to this point, they say that this is actually not in the original text of the Tara. These are later editions. Okay, particularly the first two verses, they are later editions. And then with this line, Om homage to the Venerable Arya Tara, Om I prostrate to the noble transcendental liberator. Some scholars say it is there in the original tantric text, some say it is not there. The next is paying homage to the first Tara out of the 21 Taras. The first Tara in Sanskrit is called Ture Vire Tara. Sanskrit is called Ture Vire Tara. Rabdupa Vedoma Lachasara, paying homage to Rabdupa Vedoma. Homage to you, Tara, the swift heroine, whose eyes are like an instant flash of lightning, whose water-borne face arises from the blooming lotus of Avalokiteshvara, protector of the three worlds. Okay? So that means, so now in all these verses you will find this word Chaksal, Domanyurma Parmo. So Chaksal means I pay homage. The Gota Sangmalayore, Chaksals, I pay homage. To whom? Then Domanyurma Parmo. These are the qualities of each of those Taras. So Chaksal, I pay homage to you. The Tara, the swift heroine. So this praise is done in relation to the history of the Tara. This praise or singing of the praise is done in relation to the history. So the one to whom you are paying homage is the Tara, which is called the swift heroine. The swift heroine. Meaning that one, she is Tara or the liberator, because she is the one who protects you from the 8 or 16 fears or any kind of external and internal fears and all types of sufferings, and liberates you from the ocean of samsara. So therefore, she is the liberating one, the Tara. And she has other names like the Swift One and the Fearless One or Heroine, Pamo, Nyurma, Swift One, Pamo, the Heroine One. She is called Swift because in terms of quickly helping other sentient beings, her action is swifter, it is said swifter, quicker than many of the Buddhas. Because she has made such a promise and she is manifestation of the energy of all the Buddhas. Okay? So she is called the Action Mother, as we read earlier. And she is called heroine because she is able to destroy all the evil forces. And relating to the story, it says that at the time of the Buddha Amoghasiddhi, when she for the first time cultivated bodhicitta, then the meditation that she did, the meditative stabilization that she did was called meditative stabilization, destroying all the evil forces. That's the meditation she did. And then for 95 eons, she continuously worked in liberating hundreds and thousands of sentient beings and in taming and destroying countless evil forces. So because of this action of Tara, she got this name, the quick one, the heroic one, and so forth. And she has other qualities as well, whose eyes are like an instant flash of lightning. That means here the eye is not speaking about the physical eye, but it's talking about the wisdom eye that she has. The wisdom eye that Tara has is such that even in a flash of lightning, even in a short instance, just like a lightning, within that short instant, she will be able to realize all that is knowable, all the objects of knowledge. And then in terms of whose eyes here, eyes refers to the wisdom eye. Then actually this word, flash of lightning, is not talking about the wisdom eye, but it's talking about compassionate heart. Her wisdom is swift, that within a short instant she will be able to realize all that is knowable. But her heart, or compassionate heart, which is a compassion that is not alloyed by grasping things and seeing things as having inherent existence. So, like a lightning, she would always be available to help other sentient beings. So it is from that perspective she is like a mother having that compassionate heart. So this shows her power and her capacity. So this Tara, possessing such inconceivable qualities, she arose from that lotus, from that lotus, which arose from the pool which was created by the tear of Avalokiteshvara. As I briefly told you earlier, that Avalokiteshvara made a promise that he will liberate all sentient beings. And he was working very hard, and he would in a day liberate countless sentient beings. Then at one point he thought that I have now done my job, and he goes to see how many other sentient beings are still suffering or not. He found not only sentient beings are not only suffering, but they are behaving much more badly than before. So by seeing that, he said it's totally now impossible for me. So he actually wept. So that tear went down and became a pool. From there, this lotus flower grew. From where actually arose the 21 taras. All saying that don't get discouraged. All saying to Avalokiteshvara, don't get discouraged. We are there with you to continuously help liberate sentient beings. So that is the story. Okay? There's the meaning of whose water-born face arises from the blossoming lotus of Avalokiteshvara, protector of the three worlds. Avalokiteshvara is the protector of the three worlds, and taras are born from that water-born face arises from the blooming lotus. Okay. Now with these translations, there may be a lot of things we can still work. Okay. So I'm just giving you a gist of the meaning. So there you can see here two translations. Because translation is not an easy job. You need to work very, very hard in order to fully understand the meaning. But it gives you an idea. Oh yeah. Now this first tara, Turevire Tara in Sanskrit is called Turevire Tara. So that is the tara, whose color is red and sitting on a lotus seat. You see the lotus seat, sitting on a lotus seat, and around her radiating with light of fire. She has one face and 8 arms. One face and 8 arms. The first 2 hands are kind of in unison and possessing the mudra of great joy, and it's on the top of her head, crossing each other, and holding a vajra and bell. And under that, the next 2 hands are holding an arrow, a bow and arrow, which is ready to shoot. And then on the third of the right eye is a will, the fourth has a sword, and on the third of the left hand has a conch, and the fourth is holding a lasso, and then adorned beautifully with ornaments, but in a peaceful form. So that is the first tara. Second tara is called Arya Shukal Kant Tara. Arya Shukal Kanta Tara. I'm not good in Sanskrit, so I hope it's all right. Arya Shukal Kanta Tara. Karmon Dangden Dorma. Homage to you, Tara, whose face is like 100 full autumn moons gathering together. You can easily understand this one. Blazing with the expanding light of 1,000 stars assembled. So that refers to her teeth, I think. Her teeth is like thousands of stars together. Okay. Her face is like hundreds of full autumn moon. Autumn moon means during autumn there is no pollution. Normally the sky is very clear. Okay. Blazing with expanding light of 1,000 stars assembled. So again you see, I pay homage to whom? To that Tara who has all these qualities. There's nothing much to explain. So this Tara has 3 faces. 3 faces you can see. The main face is white, the right one is blue, and the left one is yellow, and has 12 hands. And the first 2 hands are in meditative state, and the second hand of the right holds a khatamga, third a wheel, fourth a precious jewel, fifth a vajra, sixth a flower garland, and then the second of the left hand holds a kind of pot which normally the monks use to wash their mouth, Revachiluk we call it. And third is holding a upala flower, and fourth is a bell, fifth is a vase, and 6 is a volume scripture. Okay. Third Tara, Arya Kanak Varna Tara, Arya Kanak Varna Tara, Sento Chime Dolma, Sento Chinji Dolma. Homage to you, Tara, born from the golden blue lotus, whose hands are beautifully adorned with lotus flowers, you who are the embodiment of giving, joyous effort, asceticism, pacification, patience, concentration, and all objects of practice. So with regard to this Tara, you praise her in terms, first this verse explains first in terms of her color, hand symbols, and then also the causes by which she became such a Tara. So in the case of her color is yellow, as we already discussed. Her color is yellow and with slight tint of bluishness. So her color is a golden color which is reflected by the sunlight, so radiating with that light. And in her hand she is holding lotus flower, which is a blue upala stalk, and she holds that flower at her heart. This verse is also praising her in terms of the cause by which she became a Tara. The cause is the cause of practicing the 6 perfections. Giving, perfection of giving. That means giving Dharma teachings, giving material gifts, giving fearlessness. 3 types of giving we all know. Similarly, effort, joyous effort, armor-like effort, effort that is being applied, and non-stopping effort. 3 types of effort. Asceticism or hardship basically means observing morality. Observing morality. Observing morality, which is of 3 types. Restraining negative activities, Yajudam Surim, collecting positive qualities, Gavachudri Jusurim, and then benefiting sentient beings. So these are 3 types of moralities. Pacification here refers to wisdom, because she is one who has dispelled the darkness of confusion, and she possesses the wisdom that discerns the way things are, and thus she possesses all types of wisdoms, worldly wisdom, beyond worldly wisdom, and so forth. Patience. Patience. Next is patience. Patience, being able to tolerate sufferings, not easily discouraged by harms, and being able to undertake spiritual practices. Patience. Concentration. Concentration which is for the well-being in this life, and concentration for actualizing various qualities, and concentration in terms of helping other sentient beings. So because of practice of such 6 perfections, she became what she is. Okay. Of course, you can ask a lot of questions. Does this mean to say that the other Taras did not practice the 6 perfections? No, these are like different ways of presenting different qualities, because basically, as I said earlier, all the 21 Taras are manifestation of the same green Tara. Okay? So it's not that this one has this quality and this one doesn't have this quality, but there are different ways of praising different Taras or for the benefit of our mind. Lasso. So this Tara with golden color Now in terms of her, this Dalai with golden color is sitting on a multicolored lotus seat and with Vajra cross leg, one face, 10 hands. Why do these deities have 10 hands, 20 hands, 3 faces, 4 faces? You have any idea? I mean, we may not be able to understand all these things right now, but if I just give you a clue, give you an indication, that I mean, in order to serve sentient beings, we need as many hands as possible. Okay, that's probably one indication. And another is, in terms of your activity also, it's not enough that you just do one kind of activity. You need to do so many different type of activities, like the 4 activities. Sometimes wrathful, sometimes peaceful, sometimes skillful, increase, control, so many things. So these are symbolized by the different phases and things like that. But if you want to know all this, then as I said earlier, it is not necessary to think that there is a yellow, blue, God sitting there waiting for you, giving you the blessing. It's not like that. They represent the qualities. They represent different qualities. Like, for example, if you take the Kala Chakra initiation, the residence, the mandala that is constructed has a spiritual dimension. And the deities imagined within it has a spiritual dimension. So that's why, those serious students, they take so many years to understand all that. But for the sake of, lay practice, for example, if you read Shantideva's Bodhicharya Avatara, which is not a tantric text, which is a sutric text, but with different means, that book has 10 chapters. With different ways and means, what he's really trying to do is corner the negative emotions. That's the process. Corner the negative emotions. The negative emotions are very elusive. They are very cunning. Sometimes it comes in the form of an anger, saying, oh, you are being victimized, get angry. And then you get bold. What? What did you say to me? You get angry. So when anger comes, it looks like it's supporting you, you see. So it comes in that way. Sometimes it comes in the form of attachment. Oh, I like you so much, come closer, So in 100 different ways, the negative emotions come. Sometimes come as a robber, sometimes come as a thief, sometimes as a dacoit or whatever, you see. So therefore, Shantideva says, just as these negative emotions come in different forms, different manners, similarly you need to adopt those counter forces in different forms so that you are really able to catch hold of these negative emotions. So that's the purpose. So tantric practice is also another very interesting and important practice of dealing with these negative emotions. First of all, understanding your psychophysical states and work with that kind of visualization of the channels and so forth. And secondly, there is a process of imagining all this, just like teaching to small kids. You have all these pictures to look at, you see. And then through these pictures you can think about the qualities that is told or that is represented by these pictures. Come on. So, thank you.